What are the top classes in Mapleland right now? I would say probably Dragon Knight. I'm playing a Dragon Knight right now, and I'm not saying that based on a class bias. I think a lot of people are playing Dragon Knight right now. I see a lot of new Dragon Knight players around the map training. And even while I was leveling this one, I've made this character about a month ago when I went out to Korea to visit my family. While grinding up to 89, I've seen a lot more Dragon Knight users grinding with me, doing party quests and stuff like that. And Dragon Knights are a really good class, and I think the reason why a lot of people are playing it right now is because there's a 2-year anniversary event going on in Mapleland where they're giving out these maple weapons. And prior to the maple weapon release, there were actually no maple weapons in the game. So prior to the event that's going on right now, we didn't have access to this level 64 maple spear. A lot of Dragon Knights were using this level 50 spear because the base attack speed on this spear is average, whereas any spear above level 60, I believe, has a default attack speed of slow. So I know this is in Korean, but this is a level 80 spear. I'll show you. This is a level 80 spear, but the default attack speed is slow. So even if I use booster, the attack speed is going to be at the next level, which is going to be at average. But this one is at average, so if I use booster, it's on fast. Now, why do a lot of Dragon Knights or Dark Knights use a lower level spear? Because as you level, you could wear a level 110 spear, which is the timeless spear that's out right now. You could wear that spear, and if you're not killing the Skelegos or Skelegons in one hit, and they take 2 hits to kill, you might as well wear a spear with a higher attack speed and attack it twice quicker, faster to kill it. So why do I say this? Because right now, with the event going on with the 2-year anniversary, they released a level 64 maple spear, which has an attack speed of average. So a lot of, based on what I'm seeing and what I'm reading, out of all the maple weapons released from this anniversary, the spearman had the most impact because of what the Dragon Knights do at the later level, which is they wear a level 50 spear, but the 64 spear now has more attack. It comes with accuracy, which accuracy is huge for warriors. So, and the spear comes with accuracy, so it's a double whammy. So a lot of Dragon Knights, a lot of people are creating secondary or tertiary accounts and leveling up Dragon Knight just to make sure they lock in and get this spear. Because after this event, which ends here in like 5 days, you're not going to be able to get the spear because it's not tradable. So that could be a reason why. But also, just in general, Dragon Knights are a solid class. So I would put it at number 1 because it's both good at mobbing. In Mapleland, you can find any party to go to because a lot of priests and bishops will invite you into a party, and you get in a group of 3 with other Dragon Knights, and you start spamming this AoE attack, Dragon Roar. And the priest just has to heal you, and you guys are basically farming and grinding with less stress, less it doesn't wear you out as quickly. You can just kind of sit there and chill. And then they're good for bossing because their skill hyper body is super useful. I think all Zac and Horntail raids require a Dragon Knight. I mean, that's a must, There, some Zacs, maybe they won't need Dragon Knights, but having a Dragon Knight is such a huge insurance and boost of security that I can't imagine people not taking Dragon Knights. Also, Dragon Knights are really good at going to take on field bosses. Here in Mapleland, Sharp Eyes 30 Mastery Book, which you can get from Pianus. It goes around, it goes about, I believe, around $300 to $400. You heard me correctly, dollars. And that field boss, the big old fish, drops it at 0.01 or 0.1 rate. So you can imagine why people would be grinding that boss. And Dragon Knights are really well equipped to grind that boss at an earlier level. Let's say compared to a more damage focused hermits, assassins, or hermits, or rangers, which uses a bow. Those guys struggle a little bit because Pianos can just one-shot them. So as a warrior, especially as a Dark Knight, not only are you tanky because you're wearing like chain and plate armor, but you also have a huge HP pool, which mitigates you from dying in one hit. And you can always take a priest with you. I'm sure they'd be willing to go with you, because you can give them hyper body and they heal you, and they can heal you while you fight, which reduces the amount of potion you have to use, which saves you money, and they're just there for the ride. And if something pops up, you guys go half-half. It's a win-win. So Dragon Knights are good for field bossing. They're good for grinding because you can always find a party to grind with. They'll take you. You're good for bossing, and you're also good for just going around killing field bosses on the board. Now, one thing bad about Dragon Knights compared to other warriors is that our defenses, just base stat general defenses, which is here in the red, is not that high compared to, well, it's high, but our damage mitigation isn't as good as Crusaders or Knights. Crusaders are the sword wielders. They use the sword. As you can see, I'm using a spear because I'm a spearman. Crusaders and Knights have this skill called Power Guard, which reduces and mitigates damage that Dragon Knights could really use, because getting hit by these guys, even with Iron Wall, hurts a lot. Now, let's talk about what I think is the second tier here in Mapleland. I would say second tier, probably Ice Lightning Mage. I would give it to Ice Lightning Mage because they honestly, I think they're one of the best, if not best, solo grinding, solo mobbing classes in the game. And they're also welcomed in a lot of instances in party quests and stuff. So for example, at level 75, you can join Romeo and Juliet party quests, and they're always looking for Ice and Lightning Mage because they have the ability to freeze. You can also go to almost any party as you're leveling from 1 through 70, and they'll accept you. They're not going to turn you away. Most of the time, I had a hard time with this character because people don't want warriors in a party. We have this image that we're slow grinders, which is true. We are very slow because we have to go in melee range and physically grind the mob. And if you don't prep yourself to have high mobility, which I have 134% here. This is movement speed, but generally this would be at 100 if you don't kind of like scroll your items for movement speed, and you're walking at a really slow speed. And compared to like ranged characters or characters with a lot of mobility, your mobbing speed, people are not gonna really be fond of because you have to individually go up and hit them. So it was harder for me more than anything. So Ice Lightnings actually are are sought after. They're pretty valuable in the party. And in party quests too, a lot of people like mages. So even in KPQ, if you're playing a mage, a magician, people are gonna want you because you do magicians do the most damage in first class hand, right? And I've also seen somewhere where they say Ice Lightning Mage, which is a secondary job. Sorry, Ice Lightning Mage is the best class in the secondary job level frame. So in second class. And I kind of agree because they have the best mobbing skilled with Thunderbolt or Ice Lightning Bolt. And then they can also freeze enemies, which can help you save potions by not getting hit. They have teleport to move around, and they can mob easily with Lightning Bolt. It's just awesome, you know? And then you get to 3rd level and you're doing mass freezing, mass mobbing, and it just gets more crazy. And then eventually you get to 4th level and you're just a machine at that point, you know? You're using chain lightning. Like, I've seen a level 120 plus Archmage Ice Lightning guy here, and he's just like teleporting from here to the next platform, chain lightning everything, and it looks so badass. And it looked also fun, but the efficiency of mobbing would be just insane, you know? He would be so fast at clearing these things. So I think Ice Lightning would take 2. The only bad thing about Ice Lightning is that they're not very sought after for bosses. Because they don't do a lot of DPS. Now, they can definitely go, but if a party, let's say right now the latest content in Mapleland is Horntail, Pinkbean's coming, and the entire party is like just on that threshold of barely clearing Horntail, like people's levels are 150, 140, 160, and with the limited space in a party, if they put in a level 60 Thunder Lightning, you know, that might make some people be like, Ice Lightning Mage is that I don't see them go bossing. Like, people would prefer to take a different damage, different attacker than Ice Lightning, because other classes do more damage. And the unfortunate and very sad truth is that Ice Lightning Mages don't offer any huge boost to the party. They don't have a huge buff that they give. So most times you find them in a training ground, lonely, grinding by themselves. And there's this stereotype here in Mapleland that if you play Ice Lightning, you know, you're playing to farm, you're playing to make money. It's Ice Lightning Mages and Bishops are very well known. Their identities are engraved in the game culture as classes that are being played to make money. And Bishop is really unbearable, I guess, because you're not really grinding yourself. You're just sitting next to your party members, giving them buffs. Whereas Ice Lightning, you can make a lot of money just by playing by yourself and occasionally joining a party or two and grinding together. I know Ice Lightning Mages post 90 go to a party here of 12 people. So there's 2 party groups. Each group containing 6 people, and Ice Lightnings get a little tiny space up at the top where it's dedicated to them or other attackers like Knight, usually classes that have CC to freeze enemies, so they're not chugging potions and losing so much money. And Ice Lightnings are perfect for that. They kind of fit that role perfectly. So there's like a little slot for them within the community where people look for them and they're sought after. So although it's a con that you're not really doing party grind or doing bosses that much, there's still space for you where you can interact with the community and have a good time. My third would be assassins. Assassins still do the most damage in Mapleland, just like how it was back in the day. And they're really fun to play. They're one of the few classes where you can jump and grind mobs. You can use flash jump. You have a lot of mobility. Even at second job advancement at level 30, you have access to a skill called haste, which increases your speed and jump by a huge margin. And then you get into third job advancement at level 70 and you learn flash jump, which now at that point, you know, you're a king. You're basically flying around everywhere, throwing your throwing stars at all the enemies. And you know, with the mobility, they have this there's this satisfying feeling when you're throwing stars and it hits the enemies, especially when you get Hermit and you get Shadow Partner, and now you're not throwing 2 stars at a time, you're throwing 4 stars. And the way it hits the enemies, and you're flying around the map and throwing that star and kind of using the physics of the game to manipulate how the how the throwing stars kind of go, their trajectory. It's its own game, and it's so fun to play Hermit. And I think that's why a lot of people play it. It's not only because it's the strongest, but it's just popular because it's fun. Hermits have a lot of skills that are useful. Like I said, in second class they have haste, and then you go to third skill advancement and you have you can't forget about dark sight. They also have dark sight level 1, which is a really cool skill for a lot of new people. You know, it makes you go transparent and invisible and you can't get hit by enemies. And I remember a lot of people back in 2002, 3, 4, that time frame, a lot of people would play thief assassins, and they would use dark side and they would go look at high level mobs. And you know, you as a kid just watching your buddy do that is so fun, and because you as a hunter would never be able to get that far to see these cool monsters and what's beyond to the next portal, or what's on the other side of the portal that you can't cross because you're too weak. So assassins are really fun, and they have a lot of unique skills. They're very sought after in every party quest, from level 10 to 100 plus. They're sought after by parties because they have a party buff called haste, which increases everybody's speed and mobility. They also have the skill called Meso Up, which is another party buff that allows every party member to gain increased meso drop from monsters. So they have these very useful skills, and it's very rare in Maplestory in this game to have a class where almost 90% of their skills are useful. As weird as that sounds, it's true. But hermits are the only exception, probably the unique exception. Every class has useless skills that people disregard except for hermit. Hermit's one of those cases where it's unfortunate because you don't have enough skill points to level it. Hermit, what's another pro for Hermit? I would say Hermits are the strongest, if I haven't said that already. They're the strongest in the game, by far. They're also the most expensive to achieve their maximum potential. It costs a lot to play Hermit at the highest potential, but just to play the game up to like level 140, 130 to go to the first raid boss and play with your buddies, not even that far, just to play up to like level 70, I think Hermit is unbeatable. A lot of new players that come to the game, I would recommend them Hermit, because I know they're gonna fall in love with the game mechanics and the physics, or with the mobility and jumping around and throwing the stars. the only class that has that taste. It has that unique feeling when you play that you don't get when you play other classes. So I would say that's a huge plus for hermits. A con for hermit, it's the same thing that I said earlier. They're very expensive to play. If you want to, when you get to the 4th job advancement at level 120, you have to buy these items called mastery books to unlock your skills to the next level, to heighten its ability, right? And they're very expensive. Some of these books for hermits can cost anywhere from tens of dollars to hundreds of dollars. And that's currently in Mapleland. I played Artale for about 2-3 months. I played a cleric. When Artale came out, or when there was news about Artale coming out, and I haven't played retail Maplestory in years because I am not a fan of where the developers took that game and how the game developed. But when I heard Artale coming out, I was intrigued. And I didn't really get a chance to play the game until about a year ago. Well, actually, not even a year ago. It was this year around April when I began playing, or March. And I played for about 2 months. I played a cleric. I got to level 60. And I did not fall in love with the game. I enjoyed the game up to level 55, and I was playing it every day when I had the chance. But that feeling of playing Maplestory that I have now when I play Mapleland, it didn't exist. It felt empty, it felt dull, it felt repetitive, it felt lonely. I found myself just playing by myself all the time. There was no sense of community. And it could be me, it could have been me that kind of didn't put myself out there to find a community. But I would argue that I put the same amount of effort in Artale, that maybe even more than I did with this game, Mapleland, the Korean version. Mapleland felt a lot more easier to get into. The community felt more alive. There's a lot of YouTubers on YouTube that make content for Mapleland. I would say Mapleland is at least 10 times bigger than Artale. So that could be the reason why the sense of community here feels more like there's more sense of community here and the community feels live. But still, it's the little things that Mapleland does that actually makes you feel like you're playing an MMORPG. So to give an example, when I play Mapleland, I can always go to a place where I can find a party or there's a sense of community. People even in these all chats, these are just people talking in the world. There's a market. People are advertising. People are saying, I'm selling this, I'm selling that. You know, this guy is saying, hey, I'm selling this specific glove with it looks like it succeeded a level 10 glove attack. So, you know, he's trying to sell it or trade it for an Ilby throwing star. There's a market here. People are looking for people to party with. People are selling stuff. I mean, sometimes people are trolling. I've seen a guy, hopefully he was in character. He was just joking around. But he would chat as if he was like this super depressed guy writing a poem for his ex-girlfriend. And he did it for like 30 minutes, just 30 minutes just non-stop spamming in all chat. And every time you type these, by the way, it costs money. Not a lot, maybe like 10 cents, but it's still money. Now, whether he was doing it for attention or he was serious, I don't know. But to do that in game, at first glance, when you're writing a poem, you know, you're writing haiku for your ex-girlfriend. It's kind of funny. So I'm just kind of looking at it laughing, and other people are getting in and saying I could be your boyfriend, or just trolling around. And it's just those little hints of humanity that Mapleland has that Artale didn't have for me. If it did, it was not as big as this, you know. And even in Mapleland, there's so many websites that the players made and put together where there's an actual trade going on, or there's like game notes and hints, and it's just well put together, I would say. And there's a lot of resources outside of the game itself that you can use and go to. Discord, the Mapleland creators have their own official Discord with people just constantly chatting. I mean, they had to stop invites for new people to join, and I couldn't join for a while. They only open it at a small, they only open it like every so often, and you have to just be lucky, you know. And I couldn't get in the Discord server for the longest time, and I just tried it one time out of nowhere, and I luckily got in. And the reason why they blocked it is because they have too many members in Discord. And all of this is confirmed because Nexon, I guessed, with Mapleland and its success, Nexon is actually going to get involved, the company itself, and they're going to develop a Mapleland 2.0 and create its own unique launcher, I think, outside of Mapleland. Anyways, the point being is that Nexon recognizes that this game is thriving, and it is, and I can see it. A lot of people are playing this game. So that's some differences, you know, with Artale and Mapleland. Artale is a great game, and I know a lot of people play it. And actually, I don't know. I was gonna say if I wasn't playing Mapleland, I would be playing Artale, but I don't know. I don't think I would. You know? But yeah, that's the difference. Maplestory back in the day was more of a community-based, like, social game, you know? People played the game to level up and get stronger, of course, because it's a video game. And, you know, there's a sense of progression that was there, that of course you want to get stronger, but a lot of people play just to kind of hang out with their friends too. And it wasn't this hyper flashy, overstimulating, numbers overloaded graphic, you know, brain rotting game. It was a game that I'm playing now. It was a game where you can kind of come chill after playing an FPS or after playing League of Legends. You can come to Maple and just kind of see these cute creatures. His name is Dark Rash, or whatever his name is. And he's just like a walking furball, and you go over there and whack him, and, you know, you hope that they give you a good item. Just kind of stacking experience as you go. Old school Maplestory is a gem that you don't find in today's MMO market. You know, today's MMO miss out the massive multiplayer part. It feels like an online action RPG game. And old school Maplestory wasn't that. Old school Maplestory was a online social game where you could feel a sense of progression, where the identity part was strong. You as an individual, not as an individual, but you as this job, as this class, had something to offer to the party, there was aspiration, you know? And there was this yearning to grow stronger and level up and go kill bigger and stronger monsters together with your friends and party and get really good loot. And you know, And you felt special knowing that you as a dragon knight, or you as a bishop, or you as a dark lord or night lord had something to offer to the team, and it made you feel that much more important. For example, if you played Dark Knight, like I am right now with the spear, you knew that you were going to play a key role that your party needs. That you're going to play a crucial role in your party by giving them this buff that the party needs to succeed and clear the boss. If you're an assassin, you know you're coming to the party with haste, which will give everybody a speed boost. These little things made you unique. Not everybody had mounts, or those little difficulties or those little flaws were made up by your party members, and you might not be the strongest. You didn't have to, because you came to the party already with such a good utility skill that you can take the place of a Night Lord. Because if it was all about damage, a party would just go 5 Night Lords with a bishop to just heal him. But video game isn't that, it's not just about being strong, it's about a sense of identity to the game and what you can offer to the team to cooperate and conquer things, conquer the boss or the raid together by forming strategically what jobs and what characters or how you want to form the party. Dragon Knight would come in and give everybody an HP boost. Well, we need, let's say, a bandit, because we're gonna have this time frame in the boss where immunity, a damage immunity is needed, and a bandit is really useful to give the party a break during that interface of the boss. Or let's say 3 members go down and bishop can only raise 2, and we need about 5 minutes of time where the revival skill for bishop is on cooldown. A bandit can throw down smoke bomb and keep everybody safe, right? So bandits could be useful, and they could very well be part of the comp. What's another one? Paladins, right? Paladins could come in. Let's say in the future boss, a boss has a lightning weakness, right? Paladins can come in and put on lightning sword and do 2x the damage of other warriors and just out DPS everybody. Or maybe paladins can come in and use their 4th job skill AoE skill that makes the mobs, all the small mobs, HP 1. And maybe there's a boss phase where a lot of little mobs are spawned and they have a lot of HP, right? It's too much for you to clear quickly, and you need the paladin to bring them to HP 1. Stuff like that existed in old school Maplestory back then, pre-Big Bang. And sadly, that doesn't exist in retail Maplestory now. And the class identity, the class uniqueness, the incentive to cooperate and conquer things together doesn't exist. It's about just your daily clears. You clear this and you set a record and kind of get on with your day. And it's all about numbers. It's too flashy. You don't even know what's going on when there's like 3 people on a map. And honestly, if you're behind like me, who has not touched GMS in a long time, you kind of get behind, and you can't catch up with the amount of content that's already been released. So it's very overwhelming too. Old school Maplestory, I would log in, and even now I log in to kind of give my mind a rest and peace. I'll go through the day taking care of what I need to take care of, and then I get on Maplestory and I just put on some music or I watch Netflix as I'm just grinding away, hunting these cute little guys and hoping that they will drop something valuable that I can go sell. While I'm doing that, I'm also gaining experience, which will boost me to the next level. Every level feels weighted. There's meaning. There's a story. You know, it's just full of I don't know, full of like just heartwarming feeling. You know? I guess that's why I keep playing it. That's why I continue to play it. But yeah. I mean, look at these guys. These guys are just adorable, aren't they? They're not too crazy looking, and they're just these fur balls with twigs for ears, and they have big feet. And when they get mad because you hit them, they put a curse on you, which he missed, so he didn't do it that time. But oh, look at that! When he gets mad, he spits out seeds at you and stuff. Adorable, you know. I haven't been down in a bit. Ooh, look at all these mobs. These guys drop a 10% scroll, and they also drop an earring scroll, which is very valuable. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm grinding, trying to get some loot before I go to bed. But usually, if I had the time, I wouldn't be here. I would be in a party with 5 other people. No, 4 other people. Party of 5. And it would be a party of 3 dragon knights using dragon roar, which is this. It's the range is actually pretty insane. This map is huge, so it won't reach everybody. But 3 dragon knights using roar with the priest healing us, and 1 attacker at top just clearing out the monster regens, so the dragon knights can continuously grind with the dragon roar. I would be in a party with that, and it's actually very efficient and super easy, because I can just sit there, hold down 1 button, and focus on my work or watch Netflix. I usually just put like a little coin to hold down my button on my keyboard, and I'll get on my Mac and start working. Very relaxing, very easy grinding spot. It's the good thing about Dragon Knights. We can just go to we can optimize our grinding areas to like so we can step away for like 4 minutes at a time and focus on other things in life, you know. But anyway, that's it for this video.